So, hello everyone. So today we will continue with creating the Coop mission. And I first want to check something, because I think I might be a bit retarded. And that's because I might be wrong. That I can, by saying that I cannot restrict that the player can change some settings. So for that, because well, you can now change the starting rares and stuff like that. And I think I said you cannot prevent this, but I'm not so sure if this is really true. So I need to find the path of the script. So I think this is setting the general. So I'm setting this to false as well, these general settings. And now let's see if you can still change the game speed. And yeah, you can, so that was just dumb at all. So we can change one of those messages where it says please do not change any game options except the game speed. So we don't need this one anymore. And sadly, we now also need to change the icons. Well, we don't need to, but I think we should change the icon, because otherwise it would just look a bit strange to have like a crossed add-on setting icon. So I don't think that would be fitting anymore. So, oh well. Sadly, my preview for icon is broken. So I need to go through every icon, because, well, that's just how it looks right now. And that's certainly not how I can view those settings. So let's just... I think there should be an icon that is just like settings. So we currently use... which icon do we use? 197, so I think 197. Oh, some icons finally load. But 197 should be the cross settings. And 196 is the normal settings, so we now use this one. Because I do no longer have to tell people not to use or change those settings. So that's done. And now the important thing is we need to think about which events we want on this map. So since I sadly cannot change any settings here anymore, I will change this setting to 2, so I can still enable seeing the whole map. Just make sure I can think about this later. So when the players start, we need to... oh, and I still need to think about events, so... well, I could start with index 0 for all events that are player driven or general, and then for player 1 and 2 like using their offsets. But, well, I'm not so sure. So, maybe use event 1 as general. 100 is the first player 1 event. And 200 is the first player 2 event. It just feels wrong. Since we have an event for player 20. Where we have mission event 20 because that's the second player. So, well, I'm not so sure how I should name those events, but let's get the player names. So we create some variables for the player names, which we'll just put up here, I think. Player 0 name, no, player name 0. That's just an empty string. Player name 1, so that's the human player, just an empty string. And now I want to get the player names, so I can address each player by name, which should feel great. So we have player name, and we can get name. So, and since I will only know the real name after the game started, I will just like do this here. And player name 0 is RTTR get player. Oh, where has this been? There. Player 0 get name. Oh, well, let's just copy and paste it. Player name 1. So now we have the player names, which is good. And then we want to show a mission statement, and I'm honestly not so sure if this really works player-wise. So let's just try something, because I'm not sure if the pause even works for players, for in multiplayer. I'm not so sure, so let's try this out. Just add like a placeholder text here. RTTR mission statement for player 0, for player 1. Put in the title. Put in the message. Well, we will think about the icon later. Player 1 can... I'm not so sure if I should ever pause the game. I don't think I should, because I'm not sure if at some point I want to have events that will only trigger for one of both players, and it would be a bit strange if player 1 would pause the game while player 2 wouldn't. So it doesn't really matter if this even works. So let's put in message 1 here and message 2 here. And let's go to not unlimited play, but to multiplayer. We create a game again and check if this is even working. If not, I have a problem. So this looks nice. And well, now I sadly will have like spike 2 times, but that's just how it is. Oh well, I should test something else as well, because we also have like, oh, what's the name for that function? Don't we have like history? Well, I need to have a look at this one. So where is that task built? Task start, set mission goal. Looks like we don't have we don't have documented this one. So let's just see if we can have like different mission goals for player 1 and player 2. Because I'm not so sure. So let's see. So we create a game. Honestly, I'm always a bit afraid that my script ran into a problem when seeing the start message. So we are ready. We are ready. Let's see. So at game frame 20 we should now see a message on each client. Oh, it did not work. Oh, it's game frame 200, not 20. So we get message 1 for player 1 and we get message 2 for player 2. That's great. And oh, do I need to... So where's that helper? Shouldn't it be there? Yeah, so that's not working. So it looks like set mission goal. I set it both for player 2. Damn. For player 1. Damn. That's my fault. So let's open a no, not internet lobby. And let's test this one again. Should work fine. But you never know. You never know. Well, all scripts run on each client. Therefore, you cannot use like random functions. If you use a random, you need to make sure that on every and each client the same thing is happening at the same time. Therefore, you cannot really use a random function, because if on client 1, for example, you add like 20 people, and on client 2 you add like 30 people, then the game will just async and yeah, you get an async. So you need to make sure that you run the script independently. Great, so this is working. I can set different diaries and I can give the players different hints. So that's great, I think. So, well, since the first message is just like an introduction, I will like, if game frame is 20, and then we will just show the introduction message. So mission event, and we will not trigger mission event 1, which is just for every player. So triggering mission event 1. So if E1, then else if So, and we don't want to show this message on load, do we? Oh, I forgot how this worked. Because I think we do the mission text, and if we get a mission text, we show a mission text. So that's the trick behind this one. So if we have a message, we can show it. So now I have to think about how I should implement like those messages. Oh well, maybe I can just have a little trick. Well, maybe I will just use the trick. So I'm using like message 100 and message 200. And message 100 and message 200 will translate to event 100. And event 200. Sure, there are different ways to implement this, but I don't want to use different systems in different campaigns. So I'm trying to recycle everything. So we now have like event 100 and event 200, which now we use mission text. So we use a mission text, and at this point we don't know the player. So let's think about how we can find the player, because we need to know the player here. So I think we can use like integer division, but I'm not sure how this works in Lua. So because we will have like, just as an example, we have like an event 1, 2, 3, which should be integer division 101. So we have up to, and that's the player ID. Oh, that's -1, isn't it? So yeah, well, that's maybe not so smart. But I think it should be floor division. So we can do the following, hopefully. We can local player index, and now we can do like event divided by 100. So since this gives us a 1, probably, we need to add a -1 here, so we get the correct index. So now we can set a play index here, but I don't want to set the mission goal. Mission goal, and I'm not so sure what avatar 6 is, but we can check this one here. So they are just numbered. So I'm not sure if I want to give both players different icons. And still my icon preview is not working correctly, which is pretty frustrating. But whatever. So this should be 239. So this is just those faces. but I'm not so sure if I want to use those. Okay, we have also 234. Well, that's not looking so spectacular, is it? I mean, it doesn't really make sense in this case. So I don't really like them. I also don't want to use like these. So let's just use EM none for now. And I don't understand why this is happening. Oh, I know why this is happening. To have like a spacing below the text, because if you use an icon, it could look funny. So let's just use two new lines, so it's not next to not next to the continue button. So I don't know why you would need to send like variables and strings through multiplayer, because what for? I don't really see a use case. I mean, you can just send like a message. So, and now we can do something like this. We can set message 100 and we can set message 200. So this should now work fine, hopefully, because we have now defined message 100, which is the same as this event IDX. And now if we trigger event 100 and event 200 here, you should get a text. Let's fire text only since it's a text event. So let's see if this is working as I had expected to. And I hope, Piotr, you can understand what I'm saying. If not, just ask again. I'm sorry if I might not explain it in an understandable way. So let's see. So now nearly the same should happen as before. Oh no, I'm not starting single player. So that's a bit... Oh, what happened? Script failed to load. Damn. I should have had a look at this. Lure error 978. So that's this one. So I can't divide by using this one. Oh, it was introduced in Lua 5.3. Huh. That's bad. That doesn't help me. So let's Google Lua mass.floor. So we should be able to do the following. Maybe. I'm not sure. Which should result in the same. Maybe. So let's create another game. So now this does work. Great. So let's hit ready and start the game. Oh, so there's message run. Yeah, well, I'd actually use like a pseudo-random event. I've thought about this, but I don't really have a use case for randomness. I once thought about like creating a map which has 3 paths, where you can only use like one path, and depending on, for example, the date, or well, maybe date is a pretty bad idea, because that depends on the local time. But for example, you could use like the player names and just use their ASCII representation and like add them together, and then you just like create a modulo 20 to get a random number, something like that. And another approach would be like counting together all carriers and use that as your random number, because that's quite dependent on how the players play. But at one given moment, every player has the same amount of resources. So yeah, that should be good. So that be my workaround for having random numbers if having random numbers is really your major concern. If this is about something else, then this might not help, but I think I'd go with this approach for random numbers or randomness. So yeah. So, but as you've seen, this works quite good. So I'm pretty happy with it. And now we do something else that's pretty funny. Because we now create this build task stuff. Because, well, I copied it from somewhere and I built it some time ago and I completely forgot how this stuff works. So yeah, let's use this build task text and put this one here. But we need the player index. Which we will put here. Then it looks like we need some local task stuff. So I'm a bit confused by what this is about. Alright, this was completely strange because this is just index based and not ID based, so I'm not sure if I'm happy with this one. So yeah, well, I need to remember what I did here. State, make sure they are in order you like. Okay, if a state is 0 or 100, it's expected to be invisible. Okay. If a state is above 100, so I guess also if it's above 1, it's expected to be a subtask or hint. Alright, well, let's just copy this. I really don't know what I should do here, so we don't need multiple variables, let's just push it. So and now I need to think about how to mark players, like, okay, well, let's see what's happening here. So task text. Okay, that's just a text. then we will get like task main, which is just the spaces. So, well, this is about this. Oh, well, I can't show this one. So that's about formatting this window, because I want to have the players like a chat log, a text or quest log. So, ignore inactive tasks. So I think I will just like so since we have 2 players, we can have like different events. So 0 is invisible. Okay. I don't need to set like a subtask to 100, so it's just disabled. I think I should change this one. Well, I maybe should show what this is about, because, well, it could be quite confusing. So let's just show this one, because this should be like here. Yeah, you should just encounter anything. And now we get like a text, and here you have like this one. And I think it's really helpful for people, but the way I implemented it, I think it's just so complicated that I will never understand how this should work again. And if you have to change it at some point, you'd utterly fail. But I think having like this little quest log is pretty neat. So yeah. So let's think about something. We can probably use some table like this one. And just call it like tasks table. And now we just have to think about what this is about. So we might need a player ID, which is 0. We might need a type, task type, which could be like 1 for main task. Okay, let's write it down. Task type 1 like is main, 1 main, 2 secondary. Let's also write pay ID, play ID, which player this event is for, -1 for any player. So we need maybe text ID. And we need like a state 0 disabled, 1 enabled. Okay, well let's just try it. So we have like task type 1, play ID is 0, so let's just try anything. And we need to make sure that this... I'm not so sure if we really need to... Can't we use just like that? I'm not so sure about how to create a Lua table, but I really hope that this is working as well. And this is ordered, because I need it ordered. But it should be the same as this one up here. So we have a player ID, we have a task ID, we have a text ID. So for player 1 the text ID is like should I just write which text ID? Yeah, I think that's great. So let's just count like hint 100 and state equals 1. So let's copy and paste this stuff a bit. So player 1 also has the same, they are enabled. Then they have like 2 which are disabled. And then there is like so players, all players, and the state is enabled, and then just copy it as having it as secondary. So something like that. So now we can use text up here. Call it hint 100, hint 100. Let's also use like hint 200, I think, so we can have like different messages for both players. And not use the default text because, well, we need to make sure those even exist. So let's get rid of this one. Let's go through all the tasks. So we have a player index. Ignore inactive tasks. Well, that sounds smart. So we have task table of I dot state. If it's not 0, then continue. So let's build a text field. Get text by ID. Well, we don't need to use this strange stuff because, like I said, we have this one in the text ID, so we can now use text field. Well, we don't need this one. So we can just use text as text ID. So we get this by ID. And the text shouldn't be equal to the text field. Oh, well, I should have kept the text field then, because that's used to check whether the text exists or not. Because if you read through the explanation on how translations works, if you search for a text that doesn't exist, you get like the same text back. And by using this, I can make sure that you only see text that actually have text. So, and that's just the same as having like task sub. So we can now check for, so task type should be, task type. If the task type is 2, then we have a subtask, otherwise we don't have a subtask. And then we just build it like this and this. Alright, I forgot to check like the player check, so we need to add an and player index equals task table dot player ID. Well, let's just flip it. I don't like that order. Or the player ID is -1, because -1 is just a general task for anyone. So, great. And now we have like all tasks enabled and disabled, and now we should see at least something, I think. Oh, we need some texts, which I also need to copy from my other script. So we have like, I don't know, task. Oh well, we copy the English texts. Let's just copy this one. Should work fine. Put it here. So as you see, I'm just often copying stuff from my other scripts, which might be bad at some points, but well, hopefully having like such a nice thing in every script is nice as well. So we should now have like anything we need. So now we should be able to call like this build text function. I could be lazy and rebuild those text every time an event is triggered, but I don't really need to. So well, since I want to tell the player what to do, I will just set like those mission goals here. So let's rebuild those tasks. So and now player 2 should get like text hint 200 and that general text. So we have some subtasks and some not subtasks. So this should be ordered now. Well, let's see if this works or if this just blows up around me. So let's see. No, not on unlimited play. We want to test in multiplayer. Let's first have a look at if this one crashes right away. Without. Please don't crash. Please don't crash. Oh, it did not crash. That's a good sign. Well, maybe it's not. So yeah, wrong server type. I know. Because I used the wrong window. I need to join my game. Ready. So now we should get a mission goal. And we should get some hint texts. And it should not crash. It did not crash. And I didn't get like an error message, so let's see if that worked. We have something great! See, we have like some main objectives, some secondary objects for hint 100, and I think for player 2 this should be up here hint 200 and hint 200. Something like that, I'm not sure anymore, but hopefully it's something like that. Yeah! So, that works great. Pretty happy with it. So, now we have some basic framework for stuff. Which I'm really happy about, to be honest. I'm really happy about this one. Which I probably will need later, and I probably should rewrite those texts up here, but well. So yeah, whatever. So, in the beginning, for player 1, we need to... Well, I will start with player 1, I think. So, let's just game ready. I don't care for this one. I will also use this function. Take it away. Don't need this one right now. Don't need this one. Let's add another function here, which is function validate players in-game and now let's just put the whole script here. And then just put it up here. So I can disable this validity setting. Yeah, whatever, however you call it. At some point. So that's working. Hopefully. So on start we add like resources and stuff like that, which is also enabling and disabling buildings. So we are doing the same now for the players. And well, that's just lots of guessworking. To be honest. Because, well, so player 1 is the upper player, which is this guy, and well, he will have like only some boards. So let's first disable all buildings. Let's first think about buildings. So which buildings do I want player 1 to have? So let's just have a look at all buildings. And let's think about it. So the main question is, which building should player 1 have from the beginning and which should he have later? So he should not have a barracks. Should he? Oh, my music stopped. I need another game with a good soundtrack. Well, I can't think of a game right now. Let's just take like I'm really bad at guessing games. Let's take Skyrim ambient music. No, that's too boring. Well, let's take another good soundtrack, which is just Age of Empires 2 official soundtrack. Yeah. Oh, that's a definite edition? Well, that sounds bad. Yeah, this one is great. So, now we can continue. So I don't want him to have a barracks. No watchtower. Well, I can allow him to build mines in the beginning, so yeah. I want to enable the lookout tower later. No catapults for player. Woodcutter is okay. Let's disable fisheries. Forester is okay. Hunter is okay. Yeah, that's all. No metalworks. Not in the beginning. No char burner. No storehouse. No shipyard. Well, no harbor building in the beginning. So anything else is okay, I think. Yeah. So we now have to write all the enable code. RTTR get player 0 enable building. Well, you can't really tell because this is dependent on the game speed. The game speed determines how long one game frame is. So at normal game speed, one game frame is, I think, 50 milliseconds. On fast, it's 40 milliseconds. On very fast, it's 30 milliseconds. And you can go up to 10 milliseconds per game frame. So, yeah, that's just like, it depends on really how fast you set the game. There's no real way to measure time, but we added a function where you can format game frames. So, because I had the problem like, how would you tell a player how long you have if you only have like game frames? Because since that's the simulation speed, you have to tell the player like, well, you have 50,000 game frames for finishing this, and then the player would have like to calculate by judging his game speed how long he has. But we have a function where you can like format this one. So, and I'm not really sure if I want to change it a bit and let like player 2 build click farms and player 1 not. So I'm not sure, but I think I use nearly the same settings for player 1. So that's the second player. Oh, I need to change this number as well. Nearly made a mistake there. So player 1 nearly has the same, but he gets barracks instead of the forester, instead of the guardhouse. Yeah, so just to make sure, like now the game speed is like 30 milliseconds, so one game frame is 30 milliseconds long, and if I'd increase the game speed, then one game frame would be like 20 milliseconds. So yeah, that just changes depending on. So let's write else if here. Copy this here. And copy this here. So if player is 1, and if player is 0. So let's just think about how much wood and boards does he need. Well, I'm giving him like let's say 6 boards, 6 wood, 12 boards, 6 stone. Nothing to feed his people, I think. So you start with really like having nothing. Also no extra workers. No boats, no nothing. But you should start with like, well, maybe 2 woodcutters. 1 forester. 1 carpenter. 6 stonemason. No hunter. Well, maybe 1 farmer. Still need to check if we will need more later. Let's be a bit nasty and add like 2 butchers but no baker. This means we have to build like pig farms. So iron founder, well, let's add like 2. 1 minter, it's okay. Metal worker is okay. And 2 armorers. Yeah, boulders like 6, planers like 6, geologists like 4. So how many players should, how many soldiers should the player have? Well, that's really hard to guess. I think you need quite some soldiers just to reach every area up here. So I'm just guessing like 16. You get 1 scout, that's okay, and you get 1 shipwright, that's also okay. I think that's quite good for player 1. So I gave him like 2 farmers, didn't I? Yeah, well, I think that's okay. I think that's okay. So, and now for player 2, I think I will just do the same. So 12, 6, because he will really have like stone problems. So maybe it's just at 4. No, we start with 6. Why not 6? No, let's start with 4 for everybody. 4. Yeah, well, let's start with 8 boards. So, yeah. So why does this music no longer work? I will never understand YouTube. So, yeah, you get this and no other res. Did I give player 1 other res? No. So, oh, well, maybe you get like 2 carpenters. Yeah, let's get like 4 woodcutters, 2 foresters. Yeah, but the rest should work fine. So, since player 1 got like 6 stonemasons, player 2 will get 6 woodcutters because it's just the other way around. Or should I give him 8? I think 8 is pretty nice. Because otherwise you would just have to wait all the time, and I think that'd be annoying. So let's add 8 stonemasons. So same for you, you get also 2 butchers. You get no hunter. You get also 2 carpenters. Also 2 foresters. You get 4 stonemason, although you can't use them. 2 farmers. Oh, I have to give players minus, don't I? That's at 6 minus. 6 minus should be fine for the beginning. There's the miner there. One iron founder, 1 minter, 1 metalworker, 1 armorer. I hope. Now, I think. So, I need to have a look at the whole map so I know when and where to trigger events. So let's just start here. Alright, I defeated myself, which is okay because I can still see the map. That's what this was actually about. So yeah, as you know, I still have those blockers here. So Let's start with the introduction text. And I want to do something else that's pretty interesting, maybe. So that's like message. Oh well, we have those introduction texts. And I want to do something else, like I want to replace the player names. Lua, replace string. Well, let's just see how this could work. Gsub. So I'm just having a look at this documentation on how gsub does work. So what's n? It simply replaces all instances. It's a replacement. A pair of values is returned. Okay, I don't really get it. Banana, banana, oh, it's 2. I have to wrap my mind around this one. Limit substitutions, so I don't want to limit substitutions. So I'm using like string gsub. Okay, let's just try it. So I want to use like something like player 0% player 0%, so I want to replace like this. So let's see if this is working. No, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to use this one. And I wanted to use this one. So those are still the same messages, but I want to probably replace players. Or maybe I won't write this into a variable and just call it every time. And now we first overwrite the text, I think. So text is strings gsub text. Now we have to write what we want to replace. So we want to replace player ID. Oh, it's player index here. Player index percent by this one. But it's player index again. So now there should be for each player their respective names. And I will just get rid of these variables. I'm a bit lazy at this point and will just get the player names again. That shouldn't be like breaking. So let's also disable player validation for this time. So to do enable single player unlimited play on. So we just start with an AI, which is okay. And now we should get like... That's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. Why didn't it work? Local text. No. Player variable. Should be this one. And let's just output it. And check why this is not working. So what does the log say? Well, this looks fine. Player 0 and player 1. Although I'm not sure why this is displayed that often. Oh, I'm an idiot. This is probably working. But that's the wrong position, because that's just to build tasks. But I'm not sure why this is displayed like 4 times. How could this event fire like 4 times? Oh, of course, it's done every time. Okay, well, let's just put this into a variable. I think that's good. So, local player name, local player place name. So that should be the player replace name, and that should be the player name. Put the player name here. Put the player replace name here. So now we have to do this like not that often, and we have to do the same in those mission texts here, where we do the same. Oh, lucky we got the player index. So, now this should work fine, hopefully. Oh, the game crashed. But argument to 1 gsub, string expected, gotten nil. Got nil. Why did we get nil? Oh, because text is nil. That's correct. Got me there. So we lost just 1 instance of RTTR. Luckily I got a second one. So now this should work fine. It did not. Player 0, player 0. So this is looking great. Maybe it's not working with those percents. Maybe those are special characters? I thought so either I misunderstand the documentation. Oh no, not that map. Or this is not working as I would like it to. So, it's not doing what I'd like it to. Why? String gsub. Why? So yeah, so this should work fine, shouldn't it? So this should just work fine, reading this documentation. This does return the string and the second variable, while we don't capture the second variable, but this shouldn't be like a problem. So I really don't get it. We are replacing player 0. Why is... oh, it crashed. Lua error, invalid player IX. Oh. Yeah, I think that's okay. That this error occurs because the player IDX here well, those can only appear for correct player indexes. So, like, if E is below 100, then so there are only player-driven events, or player-related, not AI-related events. So, but why isn't this working? Oh, I think I did it wrong again, didn't I? I'd have to replace like this. And this. So now it might work. Let's see. So as you might see, just having some basic functionality I'd like to have requires quite some work. Oh great, it works without those parentheses. So now, and also the script should no longer crash. So yeah, script no longer crashes. now we can finally continue. So it seems to not work quite well with those percents. So we just get rid of them, and we can just write like player 1 and player 2. Player 0 and player 1, and they will get their names. So great. So yeah, well, the initial text will just tell you to move north by building guardhouses up here. So let's just surrender so we see the whole map. So now I want to tell player 1 like that they should build like a lookout tower. So we have the unoccupied or unexplored owner. So we can trigger an event here. So if we should do this only for player 1 or player 2. So if P is 1, so player 1 is index 0, well, that's quite complicated. And owner equals 3, 2, 2. So that's when the player on anyway reaches like an area where he can spot the enemy. Then we will trigger like event 101. So let's set event 101. Trigger event 101. So where's my mission event stuff? So 101. And if we are not on load, we will enable for player 1 build the lookout tower and send him a message that he now has a lookout tower. And let's add a task for player 1, a real task. So player 1 and player 2 will get like oh, that's quite annoying now. Oh, I really have to think about tasks later. Because, well, how do I find the correct task when they don't have like an ID? So if I want to disable the task, I need to know the index, which is also just annoying. So let's just not think about tasks for now. This needs some more work. So, oh come on YouTube, play those videos. It's really not that hard. So we have event 101, we have message 101, message 101 is message, maybe we should scout. So message start exploring. So these are just placeholders which I can later add like nice text. Nice texts. So we should scout. Yeah, so that's great. So now I think the next event would be like write an else if here. If so if player is like 1, so that's the first player, and X, so I want to remove those blockers. So they are 53, 108, I think. No, can't be. 52, 108. Oh, I always did this a bit different. So let's do the same here, because there might be more events related to position, so let's just do the same everywhere. So 201, 201. Oh, I forgot the position again. So it's 53, 108. No, 52, 108. So it should be this one. Oh, come on, YouTube. That's really annoying that videos don't play when I'm streaming. So what happened up here? Oh, I forgot to actually write the emission trigger. And what did I copy? Right, I copied this one. I forgot what this false is. Yeah, it's not on node. So it's mission event. Also if E is 201, then if not on load, place this one. So this changes the event to an environmental object. So the player can now build like a harbor. Alright, and I wanted to check if there are... Oh well, since my Explorer still is not working, I won't change the icon. To do correct object. So this should make this spot buildable now. And we should show a text. Message 201. Message so that's the hint for the player that he should build like a shipyard and a harbor building, which also means we should enable the shipyard and harbor building at event 201. So I'm really losing how this is looking. So we get a message now for, oh right, I have to enable the building lookout tower always, because otherwise that would be wrong. So we enable BLD shipyard and we enable BLD harbor building. So now player 2 can build a harbor building and a shipyard here, and this blocker is removed so he can actually build it. And now we need to check an event. I'm not sure if this is on attack. So we have an on attack event, which I never used so far. But now I want to use it because, well, this should just like be a hint for player 1 that he should build like a lookout tower. So I don't care for the attack account. So if the panda player is 1, so and if, and now I need to change this E state here again to 2 is more than 0, and then we will trigger like event 202. And I'm a bit confused. So this one up here, shouldn't this have like event 101? I think so. So 101, we have a lookout tower, so yeah, it should be triggered at some point. So we have event 102. Which should be text only. So message 202 should be like a message. Bad feeling, something about these things we should scout. So the next important step is when this spot gets explored, we should tell the players they should use sea attacks. So it's 51, 88. Well, let's use this spot because, well, just seeing this one wouldn't enable you to attack, so you need to see this one. So it's 51, 89, which is unexplored. So we add an else if here. So now I need to check those events IDs. Oh, and I forgot to add the events here. So it's 2, 1, 2, 2. And then I want to tell the player, so great, thank you for showing me how I can use C attacks. So that's like, that's where I will need to replace player names, because that should be like a dialogue between players. So for player 1, it's event 102. And for player 2, it's 203, which is a bit confusing now, but well. Oh, and now I will just check X and Y, and X is, I forgot the number again, 51. And Y is 89. And now we will just trigger like event 102 and 203. And we need those texts. Message 102. Message. Dialog. So since player 3, so that AI doesn't have that much soldiers, this shouldn't pose any problems, I hope. But maybe that's the first balancing fail I've added. So that's when attacking. So since I was don't block, you can just attack them and, well, defeat them. No problem. So now we do need an on-occupy for player 1. And if he occupies like 1959, and 103, still enabled, trigger this event. So I'm not sure, I probably will add like broken ship here, something like that, and give player 1 some boards, because, well, he won't have that many boards to build a ship, and that would be pretty annoying, I think. And therefore I thought about this one. So like maybe put it there. Well, I'm not sure where I have to put it. Well, first write those events. Try to focus, spike, try to focus. So we have event 103. They should salvage the ship. So let's add a wreck somewhere. Spikes, broken ships. broken ship. Salvage. And we should place it. Well, I'm not sure where to place it. I guess there maybe. Would it look okay? I think placing it there is okay. So, well, it's 2056. At some point I have to remove it, but well, I can't yet. So yeah, that's salvaging the ship. Oh right, I forgot an event, because I wanted to give like player 1 a storehouse. Player 2, should he get a storehouse as well? No, he will have like a harbor here and a harbor here, so he does not need a storehouse. Okay, so... Well, but I don't want to trigger like multiple events when he reaches this area. So maybe this one. So 31. So player 0. Elusive. Alt if. So event should be 104, shouldn't it? Yeah. Oh, so where's my event gone? There it is, 104, and when we reach like 3177. 3177. Ooh, I'm a bit behind here, aren't I? So we have like... Well, let's first finish this. So event 102, what should that be? I forgot what event 102 is for. Damn. Okay, so nothing. So text only. So 103 is what? Oh yeah, that's enabling shipyard and harbor building. To do remove ship. Oh no, it shouldn't be removed here. That's another event. So, I've just written event 104, which is the unoccupied event, which should enable the storehouse. So yeah, it gets really fuzzy right now. Oh, and I used the wrong player ID here. So 104 is RTTR enable BLD storehouse. Is that correct? BLD... Oh, I can't find it. Storehouse. Yeah, that's correct. So... Nope, not here. Message 104. Message... Quite long road. Let's Oh, that's something to store goods nearby. So yeah, that's the storehouse. So we have got event 103, 202 and 203, which I think I forgot to add down here. Oh, I added like 202, but I forgot 203. But what's 203 about? Oh yeah, well, that's just some other text only event, that's okay. Okay, so storehouse is done. Now the next event is for player 1 again. Because when he finishes his shipyard, he should salvage that ship. So that's an on-game frame event, because, well, that's how to check for existing buildings. Get rid of this one. So I hope to find stuff a little faster, because I've got already a pretty long script. No, I forgot what I wanted to do again. So I want to create event 105. Which is on game frame, I said. So where's the on game frame? There's on game frame. So yeah, whatever. So if well, let's think about. Well, let's first check if that event is still active. So where's that check? I always forget how I do shake this one. Yeah, it's just this one. So what did I say? 105, I guess? Isn't it? The next event? Yeah, 105. So if event 105 is still enabled... Damn, I really can't find that stuff. So here. And RTTR get player 0, get buildings, BLD shipyard. I need to check the function. It's because I think it has some building type. Oh, the other function is get building sites. Okay, so BLD shipyard is more than 0, so it's finished, no longer a building site. Then mission event 105 should be triggered. And mission event 105 does the following. One oh five. If not on load, RTTR get player 0. At where's... Oh, damn, I forgot how that looked like. Something like this. Yeah, I'm too lazy to have multiple lines, so we add GD boards, I think. Oh, so maybe I wrote some wrong events down here, because it's wood and should be boards, but well, that's just another mission. So he gets like, well, it's at like 12 boards, because he needs 10 for a ship. So, event 105 mission, salvage some So player should build a new ship. Well, it should be pretty obvious that that's a task, but well, you never know. So, and at event 105 here. So, great, so this should work. So let's think about the next event. So, if the player explores this island, he should get a message that tells him that this is just beautiful and stuff like that. And maybe we can finally build some farms and produce some wood. So we have an event 106 unexplored. So event 106. So that's just like flavor text. Player 0, that's correct. And x equals 13 and y equals 36. Then trigger event 106. So 106, just text. At event 106. Message. Find some farming and better food production. So something like that. Well, I need to think about this. There's really lots of work to add those texts. So well, I'm thinking about if I should enable the metalworks for player 1 and 2 from the beginning, because there's actually no reason to not. Did I even disable it? Where is it? Should be on start. No, I did not enable it. So well, I don't want to enable it for player 1 right away, for player 2. So let's add some more farmers for player 2 than for player 1. So where's that at where function? Because, well, there's one problem. I want to use player 1 as scout for player 2. But when the player 2 has like has a metalworks, he could build enough scouts to build a scouting expedition to scout this himself. That's something I don't want to happen. So I want to enable the metalworks for player 2 when he reaches this area. But I could do something else. I could just have like something like they find them. So I can enable the metalworks, but I won't give... Oh, I can't find stuff here anymore. So it should be at player S. So it's this function. Player 0 gets a metalworker because it's not important as TF1. But player 1 won't get a metalworker. And now I can enable the metalworks for both players. Just need to make sure I remember to add like a metalworker for player 1. Yeah, no. Well, the second player, which is player 2. Whew, that's complicated. I think I will forget at some point what I wanted to do. So, let's add like a dialogue when the red player is totally defeated. So at which events are we now? We are at 107, 204. 107. 204. So these events should trigger when that player is defeated. I could use the defeated function, but that would just mean that the player has like no HQ and no harbor, but he could still have this building, while I can't use the unoccupied for this one, because this could also happen if... Well, I could use that spot, probably. But then again, if the player destroys this one... Oh, that wouldn't help as well. Yeah, well, I'm using the dummy way, I think. So on game frame... Oh, I forgot the IDs. 107, 204. 107. 204. So now for player get no buildings. Build the guardhouse. Build the headquarters. And build the shipyard. So now the player has no more resources left. Then we will trigger 107 and 204. So they don't really do something. So they are dialogues again. Dialogue. Good work. Maybe you can find resources. Uh, 204. Thanks for the scouting. So that's what should happen here now. Oh, and I should not forget to add those events somewhere down here. No, not unoccupied. Not on attack. 107, 204. So 107 is text only. 204 is text only as well. So well, now we should have like less events, hopefully. So the next is on occupied for player 1, player 2. So this should be 205, I think. 76, 83, 6, 83. Oh. Five. It's just like this, nearly the same text, like, oh my god, I have to build ship again. So stuff like that. And we need to clear that spot, which should happen on event 205. So it's nearly the same. To do correct object. It's 204. Is that correct? Shouldn't it be 205? What's 204 again? Oh, I think that's the defeated part. Yeah. So that should be 205. So now let's think about something. So I'm not sure on how to do this. I entice Simon. So I'm not sure how to do this because I might want to trigger an event when one of those catapults shoots. So at maybe game frame like 20,000, if the amount of stones from this player lowers, then this could be a catapult shot. But I'm really not sure if that's always working, because if you know this map, you could build like a lookout tower here, and then this player could attack. Oh, why didn't this work? There should have been like a watchtower. Did the AI burn this? No, I don't do this to me. Don't do this, please. You have to build the watchtower there. No. Why isn't it working? Oh, come on. You can't do this to me. really don't get it. He built everything except that watchtower. Let's try again. That should not happen. Damn! I added an error into my script. Then 352. 352. Yeah, that's correct. I really forgot it then there. Nope, that's wrong map. So it's 362, 361. And another then. Three, 7. I'm really lazy with putting these thens in here. I always forget them. Then expected, yeah, well, just put it then there. Finally it loaded correctly. Oh yeah. He didn't build a watchtower. Why? Oh well, I didn't save the map. Okay, okay. Okay. But he did build the map earlier in my test, didn't he? Well, at least now he's doing it. Player still has the same amount of building slots, since, well, those are in a triangle, so we can only build like one building there, not multiple. Yeah, Simon, another round of scripting. And brain destroying myself. Because, well, this is just all looking the same. I really have no idea anymore which events I have, so I have to concentrate to not forget anything. So, the next event I want to trigger is like when player 1 scouts an area that belongs to player 2. No, player 4. So, player 0 to player 4. Well, it's hard to tell the right numbers by only using indexes. So, let's use unexplored. And it should be nearly the same as this one, just with different coordinates. So we are at event 108. And owner should be 3, I think. Then we trigger event 108. Looks like we found some others. We should be wary. So. So now this is quite funny. Oh, is it player 3? Yeah, I think. Oh, did I check the wrong player? No, I used the correct one. So that should be fine. So I think I have like get some military buildings somewhere here, which is barracks, guardhouse, watchtower. So let's copy this one over. And put this one here. And return this one. But let's build the harbor building here. Damn, that's quite a long line, but it's not important. And build the headquarters. So it's not really military buildings, but it's quite like military buildings, because that's everything you can attack or destroy. So we need to find the on-game frame function here. And just put this function here. So for player 2. And now we do something alike for player 3. So player 3 is then defeated. So it's 109-206. 109-206. 9-206. So we trigger this one, which is the defeated event. Which should be just like a dialogue. So, oh, I forgot 108 again. So 206. It's text only again. So 109, 206. 109. Great fight. And player 2 will be a bit sad that he couldn't participate. So yeah, that should work as well. So let's think about if I should add the insecure event or if I should not. Well, maybe it would be a bit strange if you get the message before. I mean, it could happen. Well, that's quite bad. Lots of events for player 4, but well, let's try it. So we had another event for player 4, which is 41, which should trigger on game frame. So I don't know what this was about anymore. So every 1000 game frames you check this one. So if E state, maybe I should add more comments on what everything is doing here. So if this event is enabled, then end. No, this event is disabled. We will trigger event 41, which is just nothing. So now it gets a bit complicated. So, nothing. So. And if E state 41 is less than 0 and E state 42 is still enabled, because that will be the defeat event for player 2, so nothing will happen anymore. And we are at a game frame that's dividable by 1000, then we will get the rares. So if I forgot how to write this, RTTR get player. So player 4 get no rares, GD stones. If this is less than, so we give them all the time. Oh, they get. Oh, that's a bit retarded. Should be boards in stone, I guess. Not stones in stones. So if it's less than 50 and well, it's actually 50 plus 12, I think, because I think the whole inventory counts. Oh no, well, if that's true, then I wouldn't add that much stone. So it should be 50. So, and this player still has a HQ. Get player 4, get no buildings, build the headquarters. Then, so, this means so We will start checking for event 41, or it will trigger event 41 at game frame 20,000. Might be a bit high, but should work fine. So if this happens, oh no, it's not larger than 0, 1, should be larger than 0. Should it? So that should be true. Well, looks confusing, but that should be right, because disabled events, which have been triggered, should be here. So yeah, whatever, that should work fine. Mission event 42, false. So that's the one for the player. So we have to add like an event 42, which does nothing. So 42 does nothing as well. And so we are triggering event 42, so this is only called once. And we will trigger mission event 110. So that's the player event, which is just a message. Well, maybe a dialogue. (110) 207. So that's dialogues. Message. Seems like they are throwing rocks at me. Dialogue. And the other player will answer with, well, let's dialogue scout for me and I will help. So on explore should be the next event. It should be a double event. So it's 111, and I forgot the other number. 208. 208. Oh, I think I forgot to add the text events at the bottom. So 62, 70. Dialogue there. Tag them. Dialogue. They won't see it coming. So 111. 208. Oh, I forgot even 207. What was 207 about? I think it's a dialogue again, isn't it? Dialogue start from here. Oh, that was what I was talking about, that I forgot to add these events. So, 208 is a text-only event again. So 110 is text-only. 111 is text-only. So well, the next event is well, I think it's game frame driven again. Which just should trigger a dialogue again. So it's 112, 209, I think. So text only again. No, it's not text only again. Something will happen. I forgot about that. So we enable the lookout tower, and if we are not on load, we will also finally add people. Finally we get our metal worker, but not for player 0, but for player 1. And we add a scout. So, oh, and we need to... Where's that on start event? There's on start. And we need to enable the other island. So here to do correct object. So because this means now the player can start an expedition to reach this area. So yeah. Alright, I wanted to add like fortresses here. Oh, and I think I forgot something. Didn't I add like an event where player 3 is defeated, so that must be on game frame? And on game frame, if the numbers, so it's event 109. On event 109, we don't want text there only, we want to enable a building for player 0. Because we we actually well, like, stole those plans, so we need to enable the building. So they also wanted to add like some fortresses here. So the player knows he should build fortresses there. So maybe here, and here, and here. I think that would look ugly. Maybe place a fortress here, and one there. Probably. Oh, well, maybe there and there. So we add like, well, maybe just one fortress. 78, 57. And fortress. So since it's file 2 ID 2, I need to remember if I can trust my Explorer now. So it should be this 1 bobs, and it should be 6. No. This 2 bobs. Yeah, okay, it's 2 bobs and ID 6. So now we added a fortress. And I need the correct position. 78, 57. 78, 50, 57. And now we need another on-exploit event. On-exploit. It's a singular event only for player 1. So it's which event? Once. Oh, I forgot the messages. Alright. 12. Guide font. The next should be together. Oh, dialogue. I don't know. Yeah, let me find a way around, maybe. So something like that. Edit those events here. So it's now 113, the next event. Defense lines, line, maybe should build fortress 2. Alright, and I forgot something else. On event 209, player 2 should also get the watchtower. Alright, and I forgot something else. On event... I forgot which event. When both players defeat... Well, let's find those events here. I think it's event 204. Let's see what event 204 is. It should be on game frame, I think. Yeah. Okay, so on event 204, player 2 should get the guardhouse. So, yeah. So now what was I doing? 13 fortress. Well, that's just text. No, it's not text only. It's an enable building. Well, I'm a bit fast when saying text only, because it's often just a lie. So we want 113. Build the not forester, fortress. So if player 2, we add another event 210, yeah, 210. So that should be like a message. Yeah, well, maybe you can backstep them. So that should be triggered. Unexplored, well, yeah, unexplored is quite good. So unexplored, I think it's 210. 210 players 1. And X is 114. 114. 78. So this should work fine. So yeah, this should just work fine now. So yeah, and I think I don't want to add like I don't like to add much events when fighting. I don't think there is much to do, but I think there should be something like, well, I'm pushing in or something like that. Or I'm helping something to tell your friend that you're on it. So I think there should be 2 events like, should there? I'm not so sure if I should add like events when they attack. Yeah, well, maybe that's a good idea. Why didn't I think about this first? On attack. So let's put an else if here. So if defender player is 6, or was it 5? What was the highest ID? 5. 5. So if E state one one four, so it's just like a dialog event again. So 114 dialog. I'm going to attack and 211 show them, and I will let lie just the same event I think for player 2. When player 2 finally attacks. Oh, we are 1. So what happens at 111? 2 1 210. 210 was, maybe we can backstep them, so it's just text. Okay. 210, text only. 211, text only. 140, 14 text only. Okay, so and now we just do the same for 212. Well, let's make them exclusive. So it's more like a dialogue. Well, I'm going to attack. Can't wait for you any longer. Something like that. So and each state to 12 less than no. So only if both events are still enabled, this can trigger. And now we do the same for 115 and 213. Oh well, that's pretty retarded what I did here, because I forgot to add the attack ID. So this can only be triggered by player 1, and this can only be triggered by player 2. So whoever attacks first gets the more like offensive dialogue, and whoever attacks seconds gets the like, oh, sorry, I'm late. So it's not, I'm not sure if I will just use the same texts. So that should work fine. So yeah, we still need to add those events down here. Well, we don't actually need to add them. I just do it for me, so if I have a look at this in like 2 years I still have an idea what those events are doing, and I'm not wondering what they are actually doing. So, and then there's one last event. That's the win event, I think. And that should trigger on game frame. Yeah, but maybe. So. It's 116 and 213. No, I made this window a bit larger. So 116, 213. Dialog. We won! Yay! One, 1, 6. Dialog. 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 So, great. And we need to add them here. Again. One, 1, 6. So that should work. And now I want to add something, which is called local debug events, which is set to true, and we will just trigger each and every event. So on start, we will just trigger any event. So, but this should be after everything is initialized, I think. He states we trigger every mission event. Mission event I false. If do debug events then. So this should just trigger each and every event now. So I can check if any event would crash the game, because playing this long to find out that the game crashes is just annoying. So, and let's see. So this should be the mission script, except those texts are not finished. Oh, and I added a Lua error. And I forgot the then. As always. Right, no crash. So lots of events have been triggered. Lots of texts. So start exploring. Yeah. So no crash on any event. Looks like. But it looks like we didn't get those bots, did we? Shouldn't we have gotten any bots on some events? What happened? We We should have gotten bots. I'm pretty sure I added an event. Here. Why didn't this work? I should have had like 12 bots more than I currently have. That's strange. TTL lock. Event 105. Not on load. Load should be false. I triggered them. Well, let's just try it again. I'm a bit confused. Should not happen. So let's have a look at the output here. Yeah, it has been triggered. But why did I get those bots? Oh, please don't tell me I can't add like resources in multiplayer games. Well, I can add resources. We see this one here. What? Now I'm confused. This event is triggered. I got the storehouse, don't I? No, I didn't get the storehouse. Oh, maybe I can't do this on game on the beginning. Maybe. Well, no, that doesn't make sense. Well, I just wanted to quick debug everything, and now I found out something is not working. At least not as I expected. It's player 0. I'm player 0. Am I not? And why does the game pause? I didn't set the game to pause when showing this one. Oh, now it worked. Okay, so you should not debug at the 0th game frame, it looks like. Oh, I'm an idiot. I'm adding player resources after adding those 20 bots. So everything was working fine. I'm just retarded. So, we trigger all events. And that means everything is working. So, I think the script is now ready to be run in a test game. Yeah, so next step is opening Discord and asking for someone who's willing to test play this one with me. So yeah, well, we can just keep everything as it is. And let's see. So thanks. Well, anyone for watching. I think it's only one. So thank you for watching, and well,